Today's daf Yud Cheshvan is daf Kuf Lamed Tesher up to the Mishnah. So yesterday we learned that if Adim heard from a Shchivmara that somebody owes him money, and they don't know that for a fact, they have to be careful. They could record it because nobody is going to take them seriously. A bezin is going to check it out to see whether it's correct, because just Adim saying what they heard, like hearsay. However, if Adim were in a bezin and they witnessed a woman receiving chalitza from in a bezin definitely does all their work properly and thoroughly, because they know that no other bezin is going to double guess them and check their work. So therefore, if Adim witnessed an event by a bezin like that, they can write it down as if it's a fact, ipso facto, because they will be accepted. We also said yesterday about the way that Rab Nachman called Huna Chabrin, and Rav Kima very nicely put out there in the chat somebody who highlights this point. Not explains why he does it, but he highlights this point. But it's interesting because we learned in our Gittin that Rav Huna was the Gadol Hador. That Rav Huna took over Rav. Rav Huna was actually older than Rav Nachman. And Rav Huna, the Gemara says that Rab Ami, if I remember correctly now, okay, didn't have a chance to look it up. But Rab Ami and Rab Asi were kaifilu. We said that Rab Huna received the aliyah of kohuna. Normally we don't, because of Dark Shalom, we don't give kohen, Yisrael start afterwards. We gave him the aliyah of kohuna because everyone in that door was kaifilu, where even Rab Ami, Rab Asi, the great Rab Ami, Rab Asi, were totally bottled. And he lived to the mid-90s and the high 90s. And he was a Talmud of Rav, a Talmud of Shmuel, and he took over Rav's position in Suda, but he didn't actually open a Suda. He opened another city. And so just interesting that Rav Nachman will label him as Huna. Anyway, obviously there's something behind that which I haven't seen yet, a good reason why he would say that. Go up to the Mishnah of Kuf Lamed Tes. The last Mishnah here is not the last Mishnah of Yoshim, because the next parak we still continue with the subject. But here, Hiniach, a man leaves behind Banim, Gedolim, Muktanim, leaves behind children, older and younger ones. Ein Hagid. Now the older ones need probably more expensive clothes, the younger ones need more care and maybe more food, and they need a babysitter, they need other expenses. So, but you have to distribute the Yerusha equally. It has to be equitable. So, the Gdolim are not allowed to take more money from the Yerusha on the cheshbon of the Ktanim. Say, oh, we're older, we have to buy suits. They don't need a suit, they can buy, casual clothes. Doesn't work the way. Whatever you take, the younger ones take the equal amount. But like Tanim, nor can the younger ones, claim that we need more food, we need more help, and therefore we'll take it on the cheshbon of the older ones. Whatever you take for yourself, they take the equal amount. Everything has to be distributed equally. Next thing, Nasu Gedolim, Yisu Haktanim. So we're going to conclude in the Gemara, at least one interpretation, that Nasu, not like a Chio, rather, Nasu Hakdolim, Yisu Haktanim, that if the Gedolim, let's say after the father passed away, made a wedding, a lavish wedding, then the children, the younger ones, have a right to say when they get married, we're also going to have a lavish wedding. And that comes from the general revenue, that not from our chelik of the Yerusha. We take that out. Let's say it cost you $10,000 a wedding, we're going to take $10,000 as well, and then we're going to divide the rest. The Imam of Tanim, but if the young ones say we want to have the same thing, kind of wedding you had, ain't shaming lehem. This is very odd. You just said a minute ago that they could take the same thing. So Gemara is going to say, it's talking about, but if the older ones got married while the parents were alive, and then the parents died, and the young ones said, well, we want to have the same kind of wedding that you had, because then, that doesn't work. Why? Because that was like a matana's body that father gave, and that's not part of the cheshbon of the Yerusha. It doesn't work that way. Now the Mishnah repeat exactly the same thing when it comes to a girl. Exactly the same thing. And why the Mishnah repeats exactly the same thing is to lead into the last line. So the Mishnah says, let's say the only girls there, so there are no boys, and the girls are gash in the whole estate. The older girls can say, oh, we need more expensive clothes, we're, and they take away from the cheshbon the younger ones and say, well, we're taking this out of the general Yerusha. No. But like nor can the young ones say we need more care, more help, more food, and everything else, so therefore take her off the general thing. No, everything has to be equal. Same thing about wedding. If you made a lavish wedding for the older ones after the parents died, so too you make for the younger ones. Out of the general estate, not just from their chelik. But if the older ones got married with fathers alive, and then the Tana say now that the father died, we want the same kind of a wedding. Ain't shame in Lehen. They have no right for that. You want a wedding, you take it out of your own money. And why is the Mishnah saying this? To lead into this last part. There's one chumrah over here of girls over boys, and that is shahabonis. As the Gemara will explain later, shahabonis nizaini. What do you call it? The bonim nizainis ben habonim. We're going to see in the next Mishnah exactly, which is the next Pedic actually. Interesting why it's not in this Pedic. That the bonus nizainis ala bonim, the girls will get fed on the cheshbon of the sons. We'll see later if there's only a certain amount of a small estate that we use the estate to take care of the girls, and the boys go door knocking and this and that. So the girls do take from the cheshbon of the boys because of this called a Tanai Ksuba. That I'll take care of you. When you tell your wife, I'm going to take care of your kids, your daughters, and everything else. Of the ein zones ala bonus, and the ein zones bin habonis. If there are only girls, if there were only girls, the younger ones can't say, "Oh, we need more than you do." Therefore, no, we just said before you divide equally. But if there were boys and girls, and boys have the Yerusha, then the girls take away from the boys. So interesting. The Torah seems to say that the boys yash and the girls get nothing, and Lepoil Halacha, in reality, if there's only, as we'll see in the morning later, the girls get first rights, and there's plenty. Then they take care of, and the boys take care of as well. Says the Gemara. The older brother, the lavish, that the older brother, let's say, who runs the entire estate, takes money from the general estate to clothe properly and wear a suit and a tie and look, distinguished. My David, whatever did he did. So you know what I mean? But not that we just learned. You can't take more of you. You can't. The older one can't say, "Oh, I need more expensive clothes, more lavish clothing." No, everyone has to be equal. No, this is a big difference. That this person, everyone benefits from the older brother being looking distinguished, because then people will talk to him and do business with him, and everyone gains from that. Masha Ein Kain, the other brothers don't have that right. The Mishnah says that you can't do that. Godul can't do that. We're talking about a sharcha leidiger. A guy doesn't contribute to the family estate. Taka has no right to take money for clothing more than anybody else. Talking about a sharcha pshita, a leidiger. What's a chiddush? No, even though he's a leidiger, even though he's really not doing much, but still, it makes the entire family look a lot better if nobody looks like a shlump, everybody dresses like a mensch and not disheveled. Kamashlan, no, that is not enough grounds to say that that this older brother can take more money out of the pool to take care of himself. No, that you got to take of your own money. It's only where everyone benefits, like he contributes. The Rashbam learns halacha l'maisa in the word of Gemara as well. Maida ovad ovad sounds like even the older brother who wants to dress with a nice suit and everything else is only maida ovad ovad. He did it. But if he went to a Rav and says, "Can I take money from the general estate?" Sounds like no, which is the Rashbam Pascha Halacha l'maisa. And other Rishonim disagree, and they say no. Even lechatchila, you can go ahead and because we had like Margit, because everyone benefits from it. We had it by Abatrufus that he has a right to take money to look, well kempt. But and why we say Lashon B'di'evet to tell you, but Asharcha even B'di'evet shouldn't do. Might come. What's that? Mishnah starts off saying that the Ktanim are equal to the Gdolim when it comes to a wedding, and then it says, but they have no right to say we want the same thing. What's going on here? So Yehuda said, this is what he means. If the Gdolim got married after the father died and they took money from the general estate to cover their wedding expenses, then the Ktanim had the right to have the same kind of a wedding. But if the Gdolim, while the father was alive, had a beautiful wedding. And then the younger ones, after the father died, said, "No, we're entitled to the same kind of a wedding." Ain't shaming land. That was a matnas body. He gave what the father, you can give whatever he wants when he's alive. Now it's the Yerusha. You have to all distribute equal. What he gave is their gift. You can't go against that cheshbon. Okay, Sholach le'avua bar Geniva l'Rava. So Avua, the son of Geniva, sent the Rava following Shaila. I want to know the husband. We had this sugya in other places as well. I want to know, he says, a husband who takes over the wife's estate. Let's say the wife passes away, he takes over the whole estate. Is he in halacha can treated as a yodish, as an heir, or is he treated as a lekech? All the assets that she brought into the marriage, nichse maleg and all that, and she dies, stays with him. Is he considered the moment they got married that he's as if he's a purchaser and he bought all the properties? And it's like a tanai. Only if she dies before him, because if he dies before her, she takes it back. Or is he a yodish? Now we had before an opinion usually about that I said we had opinion the rabban. So maybe this goes according to one holds the Rabban. Is he a Yerush or Lekech? And my nafkimina. The nafkimina is as follows. We're going to learn in the very end of the Masechta, and we had it in Kedushin. A milva the star, you go to Lekuchas. If you have a loan, an outstanding loan, and the borrower can't pay you, you go directly to the purchasers and you say, look, my lien is there before yours. But if it was a milva peh, then the Lekucha, if it's an oral loan, the Lekuchas have no way of knowing that. And even if they would have done the homework, they probably wouldn't have found out. And therefore, we need to make a takana to protect the lekuchas. Otherwise, the whole economy will collapse because nobody's going to buy a property because they have no idea if tomorrow they're still going to have the property. What happens if you have some private loans there and tomorrow somebody comes along and just seizes the property? So in order to make sure the society ticks along, so we said, if it's a milva peh, you cannot be goyim lekuchas. But you can be goyim in ayoshin because we don't have to protect them. There's no reason to protect them. And you have a loan, an outstanding loan, which you have a lien on the other property. So therefore, you can get them, and we'll see more later whether this is because shibuz the rise or shibuz the rabban. We'll see that papa later on in the end of the Masechta. So this is my question: if the husband is a lekeyach, or the husband a yiddish, if the woman had outstanding loans before she got married, if she had outstanding loans before she got married, and then she came into the marriage, brought all of her assets, and gave it to the husband, and then she died, can that lender go to the husband and collect from the husband? So if the husband is a lekech, it's a milva peh. You had no idea what your wife's looked. So milva had no idea. So therefore, we're going to protect the husband, and he doesn't have to pay it back. But if he's a yiddish, we don't protect him. This Baal Chayiv had a lien already on these properties, and therefore he can take it. So I want to know what's the status. I would like you to teach us. Lavsa the achla. Let's say she borrowed money, and she used the money, and then the v'nisas. And then she got married. She brought in all these properties, all the properties that there was a lien on them. She brought it into the marriage. Is Baal Lekech have a Yiddish? How do we treat the husband? Is he a Lekech, a buyer, or is he a Yiddish? Lekech have if he's a buyer, or milva alpeh, and this is an oral loan that ain't a goyim and a kuch, the lender has no right to take it from the husband. Dilma Yiddish Shabbos, Hachakal is merely an heir, and when milva peh, goyim and a we're not going to do anything to protect him. And the lender who lent while she was a single woman. So he's a lien on the properties. He has every right to take it from the Yoshim. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to bring different rayas. Some places it sounds like the husband is a lekech, and some places it sounds like the husband is a yiddish, and we have a problem there. So start from here. Amalei Tanina, we learned. It says in our Mishnah. Now the way the Gemara is going to learn the Mishnah right now is very different than what we just learned a minute ago. The Gemara comes like this. Then we learned Nosuk Doile, so the older ones got married. Yisik Tanis. Then the Tanis had the same rights. What's going on here? My lab, Pshat Mishnah as follows. Nos Gedoyle Lebaum, if let's say the Gedoyle got married and they brought they brought a bunch of things into the marriage. Yisuk Tanis Mibal. And then the Tanas can take it from the husband. Let's say the older woman took the whole Yerusha that she had and gave it to the husband. And then she died. And the younger ones grow up, and the younger ones can say to the husband, give us back. It's like our sister owes us all this money. She took the whole estate, the whole Yerusha gave it to you. She owes it to us, a milva peh, and give it back to us. And the Mishnah says yes. So what does that mean? That means that there's only a Yiddish. Because there's a lekeach, milva peh, you don't take from a lekeach. That's how they want to learn Pshat in the Mishnah. Similarly, no, that's not Pshat in the Mishnah at all. It's like what we just learned a minute ago. Nothing to do with her giving the entire estate to her husband and then the younger ones can take it back. No. We're talking about the wedding, fund for a wedding. That the older ones had this kind of a wedding, and the young ones have a right to have the same kind of wedding. Nothing to do with estate going to the husband. Because that's right. Because okay, maybe that's shot in the Mishnah. But there's a Braise where Abchi at least understood our Mishnah. Nosuk de libal, Yisuk Tanis mibal. Abchi actually learned the Mishnah that way. So Gemara says, no, even if you want to learn the Mishnah that way, it proves nothing. You know why it proves nothing? Because Dilma shiny panosa, Maybe Panos is very different. Really, the husband is a lekech. The husband's lekech. No, if the husband lekech, so how come the younger daughters can take the thing back? Because taking care of the girls and everything else is like a milva bishtar. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. What do you call it? That there's young girls that have to be taken care of. So it's as if it's a milva bishtar. Like we'll have a concept later on. Milva haksuva b'toida kiksuva bishtar dam. Doesn't necessarily always have. The whole idea is the whole idea of protecting the lekech because he didn't know. The lekech had no idea that there are outstanding loans. But here you know, there's a family here. So therefore, even if he's a lekeach, we're not going to protect him in this case. Okay, so we have no raya one way or another. Come on, I'll bring you a raya. I'll resolve this question. Lav hainu the sholach Rabin begarte. Isn't this exactly the letter that Rabin sent? And what was the letter he sent? He said the following halacha: somebody died. The thing is, when somebody dies, his estate, the almana can continue feeding himself off from the estate until that's the part of the ksuba, until one day she gets remarried. Then we had all discussion about ksuba whether it's 25 years or something. But she's entitled to get from the state. But then what happened is, somebody died. The hiniach almana left behind a widow, a daughter, and he has to take care of the widow, and he has to take care of the daughter. He's almanasa in the zainis milchasaf. That what that the widow continues getting fed from the ksuba because it's part of the ksuba. Nisas habas. Then what happened was, so no, but from the state, you take care of the mother. The girl has to take care of, if not even mother, her stepmother, her father's other wife. And then what happened? Nisas habas, the girl got married, and she took the entire estate from that she yashed from her father and gave it to the husband. Is Amon and his own the Almana continues getting fed from the estate that the girl brought into her marriage because there's already a lien on that to take care of the mother. But what at Mesabas? The daughter dies. So who yashes now? The husband. The question is, does Amana continue getting money from the husband or not? It's exactly what happened to me. The Omra, they pass in Almanos in the Zaim L'chasad. Almana continues getting money. That's what the letter was. Now, think for a second. If you learn that the husband is a Yiddish, because it's like a loan, it's like a milva. If you learn the husband's a Yiddish, okay, so the Almana continues getting because she predates and we're not going to protect. But if the husband's a Lekeach, then what right does she have to take from Lekech? It's like a milva. Eliam, if you can tell me that what? That Lekeach, that is a Lekeach. That we will learn in Margitin that you do not take out from a lekeach anything which is uncapped. Any takara that we have with it, a loan is capped, $100. The loan is $100. But a month in the zainis, it goes on forever. And anything which is uncapped, we don't take from the kuchas. It's not fair. Because that's mamish not fair. So the mission says they could tikkun ha'olam. Because you can't have a society where you keep on, paying other people's loans. No. So it must be that the husband, from here we bring a raya that the husband is a Yiddish. I'm going to buy. I said, okay, you brought a raya, the husband is a Yiddish. That's right. That's why the Almana continues getting. You don't even need this raya. I said, I'll give you a better raya. He loved the Shalach Rabin, and now you didn't think you need Rabbi's raya. I'll get another raya. But now we learned, it says in the Mishnah, Elu, you bring a raya from a letter that we learned from the Mishnah. Elu ain't the following. Yovel, we know that every purchase goes back Yovel to the original owner. The following don't go back in Yovel. The second portion, we have a whole thing about Achin Yashin, whether the Lekuchas ain't Machlekes Gittin Rabbi Rabasi, but the opinions are, and whether we say yes braid or ain't braid, we say on Yovel, they all come back. But one thing's for sure, the Pchor part of it does not go back because that's considered Matana. And this Tana, there's a machlekes by a matana also does it go back by Yovel or not. And this Tana holds that a purchase goes back on Yovel to the real owner, but not by matana. So they don't go back to the chelik of chayda. The hayerish is ishtay. And a husband who yashes his wife does not go back to Yovel. Now why not? If you learn that that he's a lekeach, every time you buy something, Yovel goes back. So she go back to her family. Nothing to do with his. He should go back to her family, her Yoshim, that's it. But unless we say that he's a Yosh, and if a Yosh doesn't go back. So there's a that the husband is what do you call it? Is a Yosh. So we have two rayas now from Robin and from here that husband is Yosh. Rabbi says, and you think that's better? I'll bring it out that he's a lekech. And you think now that you sent this letter, forget about your Mishnah, and even the letter, he said you smarter. The 10 places, the 10 golias that Sanhedrin went, and Usha they went twice. So he said that in Usha he's skinned and they made a special takana. A woman that, let's say she wanted some money, so she took, and if the husband, so there's like a risk. If she dies before the husband gets everything. If nichse meloige is, it literally means plucked. So there's nichse tzem basel, which means you work out the value of a property as she brings into the marriage. You put in a ksuba. She brought in a property worth $100. Doesn't matter how many years they're married. If they divorce and he has to give it back to her, he has to give back $100 property. And we fix the price. In nichse meloige is plucked properties. That you don't put a value on it. So the property belongs to her. The property belongs to her, and he gets the dividend because he will work the property. So she wants to have some cash up front, so she sells it. But she can't sell for the full value because she doesn't have it. And there's a 50-50 chance that she'll never get it. If she dies first, she never gets it. If she dies after the husband or they're divorced, she'll get it. So she sells it for maybe 20 cents to the dollar. And these people are taking a gamble. And this works for them to pay 20 cents a dollar. Maybe they'll, they work out the probabilities and you hire an actuary and they got it all worked out how much it's worth. So what happens here is she sold the property to Malay, and then Vemesa, she died. And the din is the husband gets it, not them. Why not? If he's a Yiddish, when does Yerusha kick in? Only after she died, but she already sold it way before then. Must be that the husband is a lekech, and when does he become a lekech? The moment they got married. So his purchase took place before she sold it to these other people. So the raya that the relationship of a husband and a wife, when she brings everything into the marriage, is he's a purchaser. And when she passes away, well, he purchased it back then, the moment that they got married. So so now we have contrary rayas. What's going on here?
Purchases that only take effect at a certain point, and they take effect at the same
time. A husband is retrospective. So the husband takes effect from the got married.
But only after she dies.
Yeah. But so what? Yeah, but if we go retrospective, who goes back first? Whose time is earlier? A Yiddish is no retrospectivity. Yiddish starts, we even had yesterday, la'acha misa. Not even im gemar misa, after it's all over. So, Ella Maravashi depends. Sometimes it's something like that. Hey, of the lay, whatever benefits the husband, we did it for him. God, the Yabel comes to Yabel, it's better to say that he's a Yiddish, and therefore doesn't go back to her family in Yabel. We shouldn't say to the day, why should he lose out? If he's a Lekech, he goes back to her family and it's gone. What serves better the husband? That the lekech, that the wife sold it to doesn't walk away with the field. If you treat the husband like a lekech, it's only a lekech. These are all takanas derabban. So we're doing it to help the husband out. To say to the day, because if he's a Yiddish, like in the case of the Yewel, he loses the property because she sold it before she passed away. Gabe the Rovin, that letter that Rovin sent by Almona and the daughter, that after the daughter got married and she died, Almona continues getting, which sounds like he's a Yiddish. There, you know why we said the husband's a Yiddish in that case? To help the Almona out. From say to the Almona, because otherwise, if the husband's a lekech, then Almona gets nothing. Pay, you don't get from lekech. So there, we're going to treat the husband like an heir, so that the Almona, the widow, should be able to continue getting funds. So actually, we're not helping out the husband, we're helping out the Almona, which is going to come in a minute. So Shabbat Yiddish. Says the Gemara, you're also not only concerned about the husband, you're concerned about others as well, like the Almana, the widow, that she shouldn't lose out. No. So how Gabi de Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, in the case of Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, in the case of Usha, where we said that if the woman sold it to a lekech, we're going to help the husband out and say that he gets priority, but you're hurting the buyers. Let's help the buyers out. You're helping the widow out, help out the buyers. By passing, the husband has a din of a Yiddish. What happens? The purchasers lose out. By passing, the husband has a din of a lekeach. His purchase took place first, and therefore he wins. No, but they're losing out. And yet, what's going on here? Why are we more worried about the widow than worried about these purchases? The Gemara, they knew the risk. They knew exactly what's happening here. They knew the wife is selling the property. She's not going to get a penny right now. She's getting nothing right now. She's whatever she gets, a little bit. And she's trying to make sure that her husband doesn't end up with it. Why is she doing that? Because she obviously doesn't like her husband very much. And therefore she's and maybe he's not giving any money or whatever it is, they're not having a healthy relationship. So they're an accomplice and helping, a complicit in whatever she's doing, being very underhanded, very sneaky. So why should we make it the to help them out? Hosam inu avsilon shayu kivun ika baal, since she has a husband leiboil mizum itza the yasra tusigava. What are you buying her ksuva as if you're expecting the husband to die or that she'll be divorced? The whole thing is a very underhanded kind of a deal. There's no reason for us to help them out. Ashing a widow, her husband passed away and she needs to be taken care of. Hadn Allah Yeshnochlin now starts Misha Mace. Says the Gemara, Misha Mace, continuing the laws of Yerusha. Okay, Misha Mace, somebody died. Then you have bunny behind sons and daughters. So this is how it works. There's two possibilities. One is called Nechasim and Merubim, and one is called Nechasim and what? They leave behind a big estate or they leave behind a small estate. Now, the son's Yashin, the daughters don't Yashin, but he has a responsibility to take care of the daughters till they're old enough, either they get married or they're 12 and a half years old, and that time 12 and a half is an adult, and she can take care of herself. So what happens now? How does it work? The Misha makes somebody that behind sons and daughters. There's there's ample the Chasim asset. Habanim Yeshu, the sons they inherit. But Habanos Yizainu. And then from that estate, the children, the sons, have to take care of their sister. And they have to take care of her, provide for her, including getting her married. Either till 12 and a half or till they get married. Let's say there's not enough for everything. Then Habanos Yizainu, they take priority, take care of the girls. And the Habanim Yishul Apsachim. Now it sounds like right now, we don't make a cheshbon, we need $1,000 to take care of the girls until the 12 and a half, but it's $2,000 on the state, so let's take 1,000, make a Yerusha, and 1,000 for the. Sounds like, no, whatever it is, if there's not enough to divide, for the sons to go on, so then we, the entire money is put in a trust account for the girls, and we'll discuss that. And the Banim Yishul Apsachim, they go door knocking and get a job. That's not fair. This is reverse discrimination. Because but they still got, they still take care of, and then how do they take care of? Well, Adma was a Zocher himself, so what do you want from it? So Adma said, B'shvil shani Zocher Sadati, we have more because I am a male, therefore I should lose out. No, we'll see later, it should be half and half. If there's a small estate, maybe it should be half and half. We'll see later in the Gemara. I like the words of Adman. Is the halacha like Adman or not? Says the Gemara, what's considered a large estate? How do you define a large estate? If you have enough money in that estate from the pool that take care of the girls for a year, take care of the boys for a whole year, and there's enough money there, that's called a big estate. So the boys Yashin and the girls, taken care of. Those are the words of Gamil Bar Rebbe. You have to take care of the girls until they're 12 and a half years old or until they get married. So you know how you decide a large estate is? That you have ample funds there to take care of the girls 12 and a half years old and take care of the boys at the same time. And then you have a big estate, and then the children, the sons, Yashin, and the girls' money you put in a trust and you take care of them. Itmanami. Actually, the Rosh and other Shem say that even if there's a big estate, we don't give to the girls because there's a big estate, but you monitor what the boys are doing. If they're frivolous, they'll spend all the money, the gamble or whatever, they'll spend it, and and the expression is, Kemaichul Yoshim, which is the Gemara says that these are people who wake up late, they have a late breakfast, they have maids and servants. They just know how to fritter the money away. The third generation, the first one, works hard to make the money. The second one, enjoys the money. The third one loses the money. So this is the third generation, maybe. So you still have to monitor what they're doing. They're little. Now, in halacha, it's questionable. What's the difference of the Chasim Merub and the Chasim Moatin? In both cases, the girls get the same amount. So, and as you was saying, in a minute, any surplus, the boys get. So in halacha, what's the part of the outcome? If the Chasim Merub, the girls get the same amount, and the boys get more. If there's a Chasim Moatin, the girls get the same amount, and the boys get less. So there's no real halacha difference. Just say the girls always are taking care of Tisha Vagru, and who cares if you label it Nechasim Reuben or you label it Nechasim Moatim. So it's kind of some of the we'll still see tomorrow. Is the difference is if it's Nechasim Reuben, the children, the son's Yarshin. If the son's Yarshin, and then tomorrow the assets suddenly fall in value, too bad on them. So you say, oh, it's no longer Nechasim Reuben. We got to maybe give less to it. And if the money skyrockets up, nothing changes. But if it's Nechasim Moatim, the children don't Yarshin at all. And if the children don't Yarshin at all, then if all the Nechasim, because probably the Nechasim become Moatim, so too the assets you set aside for the girls. Right? You set aside so much for the girls and so much. But if the son's Yashin, we no longer take away from them. The Yashin is too late, too bad. But if it's not a Yerusha, main thing is the girls because it's Chasam Moatim, and the boys just eat the surplus. If there's no excess, suddenly tomorrow there's no excess because the market value went down. They eat nothing. The boys, they door knock. So that's the nafkamin if we pass on or not. Anything else? Including Gemara. So the Gemara it sounds in the Mishnah that if it's not enough for both of them together, the sons have to go door knock. So let's say there's surplus money, but not enough for a number of years. The sons don't get it. Why not? So the pshat in the Mishnah is you set aside the money that you need for the girls until they become the age of 12 and a half. And the rest of the money goes to the sons. When they run out of that money, that's when they go door knocking. Okay, we'll stop here tomorrow. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks.